All right, guys, had to fix the screen orientation there. It was telling me that it was wrong, so it wouldn't start. All right, so we're working on a 2007 Yamaha TTR125. I'm going to be doing a clutch on this. I figured I'd do it live today just for fun so you guys can check out kind of the process. It's a pretty straightforward job. There's a couple of tools you need. I'll go over everything, torque specs and all that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to kind of show you like what I do when I'm working on bikes in here. And if you're here to hang out, please do grab a cup of coffee, a beer, whatever you want. Text me, let me know, message me on the side so I know that you're watching, and I'll give you a shout out. But this right here is like I said, it's a 2007 TTR125. Now the kit I'm going to be using is an Amazon kit. It's a this kit right here. I'll put a link after the live show is off. But it pretty much comes with everything. And the only thing I've done so far before the video came on is drain the oil, and I have the bike leaned over a little bit so that the oil can drop out the side, because when we take this off, it's going to drain out. Now this TTR has a skid plate on it. It's 10 millimeters, so we're just going to go ahead and start with that. But first off, some of the things I need, you're going to need to do this is going to be 8 millimeter. I'm using a T-handle. I also have an 8 millimeter impact. Taking stuff apart with an impact's no problem. I also have a 17 millimeter and a 1/2 inch impact for the kickstart. 10 millimeter on the ratchet wrench to take the skid plate off. A couple other odds and ends tools. I also have a box here. I made this to show you guys, if you haven't done this before, all these bolts are certain lengths, and when you get used to them, you'll know where they need to go. But I did this to show you, you can do something simple like this. You take the bolt out and just stick it in each spot, and then when you put it back on, it makes life a lot easier. I also have a drill here for installing all these 8 millimeters, and I have it set all the way down to the lowest setting, so it won't over torque them. These 8 millimeters and stuff, they go to like 7 foot-pounds of torque, so you don't want to over torque those. So let's get the skid plate off. 10 millimeter ratchet. Power tools and stuff like that, guys, they are super easy. I got links in the description to get them, but it really speeds up the process. Find all kinds of things in this skid plate. All right. Skid plate's out of the way. Now the brake lever here, some videos show that you need to take this off, but let me reorient you guys here so you can see a little bit better. All right, so the kickstart's going to come off with a 17 millimeter. Come on. All right, so the brake pedal, some people say you got to take it off. You don't have to. Just release the brake in the back, that little butterfly in the back. Spin that all the way off. So I just took the butterfly off like this, and then you go ahead and just the pedal will get out of the way when it's time to take it off. Plenty of room. Don't even sweat it. I disconnected the battery also because we're going to be taking off the starter. All right, so let's take off this side cover now. 8 millimeter. Starter. You got a ground strap here, and you have the straps for the starter here. So I'm going to get the starter out of the way. We got these 8 millimeters here that are holding it in because they're mounted to the side case cover. Been in there a while, you know, it'll come out. Just got to wiggle it around. All right, and with that off, we got the one bolt I already took off. We have the long one for the middle, 8mm, another one for the other bracket right here. All right, and now behind here, this is where it mounts to the starter solenoid switch. So you can either just move it off to the side here. It's not very heavy, it'll be fine. Or you can take that off. I'm gonna go ahead and take it off just to get it out of the way. 8mm here on the starter solenoid. These will go bad as well if your TTR is not starting. You're having problems with it. Got another video about that. Little short 8mm. Just pull this whole starter out of the way. All right, a couple more bolts here. There's one Allen in here also. I don't know what that one's for, why it's an Allen, but let me see. And that was a 5mm Allen there. All right, so we'll be able to just pull this out of the way. Now the kickstart shaft right here, you don't want that to pull out when you're pulling it out, so make sure you hold that in and just kind of work and pull this off. There's a couple tabs on here that are pry tabs. There's one on the top right here. I believe there's another one, yeah, down over here. So if you have to pry it off, pry it off. I'm gonna take a dead blow hammer and just tap it a couple times, and that's usually gonna loosen it up enough. You can hear it coming loose already. Oil pan underneath it. Now, the kit came with a gasket, so I'm hoping the gasket's pretty decent. Like, I hope it comes off. I'm just holding the kickstand shaft here. And there we go. So you can see the gasket ripped in a couple places. I'll be pulling that off and cleaning all that up. We got a new gasket, so pull it off of here. Luckily, everything came off with the cover here. It's easier to clean up. I'll give you some tips on that in a minute. Let's keep on rocking here. All right, so here's our clutch pack here. All of our fibers and our metals inside there. These right here, these 8mm. There's also an adjuster in the middle. The adjuster, there's some instructions in the manual how to do it. On the other side, there's a little pin. You want to make sure that it's pointing at a mark on the case. If not, you have to adjust this here. We're going to get it all together. There's also some arrows in here. There's an arrow right here that needs to go to the clutch hub or the clutch boss that's behind it when you're putting it back on. So pay attention to all that stuff. I'm going to lay out a clean rag here so I can take the parts off and everything gets laid out in a nice clean surface. Now, these are only held on by like 4 foot-pounds, super, super light. So you don't want to over-tighten these things. When you put it back on, it's really just snug. I'm going to reuse these springs. The kit does come with springs, but I'm going to go ahead and reuse these. So you can pull this whole pack off now. Okay, you don't have to touch anything in the middle, okay, which is, doesn't even feel like it's tight. We'll address that. We're going to take this whole thing out, okay? Just grab all the fibers on the edges and pull the whole clutch out. All right, just like that. You should have just your metal clutch boss in here, or the clutch hub, and then we have our everything is one piece right there. So I'm going to take this apart and make sure that it was put together right. The problem with this one, it was grabbing really far out, and they weren't able to get a good clutch feel. All right, that was on right. If you look at these fibers and metals, you're going to see a little tab right here. These need to be 90 degrees apart. You see how they're not? They're right next to each other. That's incorrect. That one, 180 degrees. That one, yeah. So that this clutch wasn't even in there right. So that could be the problem. It comes more down to feel for that. All right. So in here, there's your screen. There's no filter on these bikes. So you want to make sure you get the screen cleaned out good. It's right here. All right, just a screen. Make sure there's no debris in there. I'm going to clean that out with a rag. Yeah, I don't see anything. Looking good. You can look right through the drain pulp on the other side. So, I'm going to spray this clean. Slide that back home. Now the gasket all around there looks perfect. Like everything came off of here. Tiny bit right there I'll get. Let's give it a good visual for any other gasket material. I've got a red scuff pad right here. These are 3M pads. You can get these and just cut them into pieces that you need. Looks really good. All right. Everything else looks good in here. I don't see any issues. So we're going to go ahead and start putting the clutch back together. Now the kit comes with plates that are already oiled. There's already oil on these, so we don't have to worry about that. And the metals are ready to go as well. So being that we have our arrow straight up and down here for our clutch boss, all right, we're going to go ahead and use that arrow as our starting point. And we're going to go ahead and put these. They don't matter if they're rotated or anything. You're just going to drop these in. So because the metal hub is in there first, you're putting fibers in first. And then the first one I'm going to put with that little pointer up towards the top, right where that arrow is. Then we're just going to go ahead and alternate. Fiber. Metal 90 degrees, so we're going to put that over to the side. Fiber. Another 90 degrees, so this one's going to be straight down. Another fiber. Less metal all the way to the left. Last fiber. And then there's an arrow on here. All right, arrow's pointing straight up. We got to match that up with the Boss arrow right there. So our adjuster goes right into the center. Start putting our springs back again. These are really, really low torque. We start these things by hand. If they start going in crazy, you can make sure that it doesn't cross thread. Just start bringing them in increments. Now, if you haven't done torquing stuff before, 4 foot-pounds is very little. All right, so they're on, good to go. At this point, you can grab your clutch and pull it. I'll do it so you guys can see it move. So I have a lot of play in it now. I'm going to adjust it. There's a pointer on the other side. I have to adjust, so I'm going to jump over there and do that. Watch, you got to watch it from this side. But let me... Too much plays in there. It's not doing anything. So we have to turn this in. I'm gonna go check the pointer on the other side. Have to loosen it. So the other side, there's an arm and there's a pointer, and I'm grabbing the pointer and I'm pushing it and getting it so that when I'm pushed up against this push rod that goes all the way across, my arrows line up. we can adjust our final free play up there. So that looks good now. Hold it in place and tighten it. All right, never feels good up there. All right, so where we're at, we got to clean up the outside gasket now that's on the cover. All right, so cover right here. It's only got a couple little pieces I got to clean up. Just pay attention where your gasket pieces go. Make sure they don't drop into the side cover. Make sure it's all off. Now another thing the manual notes is that when you're putting the bolts back in, that you put some Yamaha bond like on the end of the bolt, maybe like 5 millimeters on the end of the bolt. We're going to do that as well. Might as well do it just like the manual says. I'm using a brand new razor blade for this. Then I'll do final cleanup with the red scuff pad. This is what takes the longest sometimes, getting the gaskets off, but trust the process, they say. Take your time, do it right. Stubborn gasket right here. These are all the parts that we cut out when we're doing videos. When you're live, you can't. Almost done. All right, looking good, looking good. All right, so I'm gonna take my red scuff pad, some brake cleaner, clean it up around the edge where the gasket sits. Make sure that we're nice and clean. When you hit it with this red scuff pad, it really opens up any missed gasket pieces. You can see them clear. All right, we're good here. All right, new gasket here. Drop the new gasket in. We'll transfer the dowels over to the case so it'll hold the gasket. All right, these guide pin dowels, I'm just pulling them out and transferring them over. You can put a little grease on the gasket if you want to help hold it against the engine cases if you're having any trouble. I don't know if I totally agree with it. Some people have a lot of luck with that. I find that if you do that, sometimes the gasket can slide a little bit, like where the gasket's really thin and it'll slide out and you'll have a leak. So some gaskets I would say, yeah, go for it, but other ones, not a fan. All right. I'm just getting some oil on the kickstart shaft so that it slides on nice and easy. So we're guiding this piece right here. Okay, this is an oil gully right there, or oil channel, I guess I should say. Little piece of gasket in there I want to get out. And it's going to be going on into here. So put a little bit of lube on that as well to help it slide in. Then we're going to just carefully guide this back on. All right, so the book says to put a little bit of the sealer on here. I'm using the Moto Seal gasket maker for this. So each one of these bolts, as you're putting them back in, we're just going to put a little bit on there. Stuff is a bit messy, so. I'm just putting like that. Now there's two of these that the cable routing has a little clamp on it. So they're just temporarily in right now. Let me get these two starter ones in. We'll reroute the cable. Same thing, a little bit of grease on this O-ring, it'll help it slide into place. All right, bring this back up, and then we have the one right here. Bracket, one right here, connect it back. All right, now tightening all these up, I'm going to be using the drill in the lowest setting. All right, I can hold it and start them all by hand. We got that 5 at the bottom here. I don't know if this is factory right here, so we'll see. These are all about 7 foot-pounds. Almost forgot the ground strap on this one. and we are good to go there. Get our brake pedal set back up again. Kickstart. Good. Fill it up with oil. Now this takes 1.25 quarts of oil, which is 1180 cc. Gonna go on the other side, put the drain plug back in. We'll put some oil in. We're using some shell repeller T4. These live events, I have to set them up earlier so I can get more people involved. Beaker of oil. I don't know if this gate plate on because I want to check for leaks or anything. It says 1,000 cc's on the case right here, so that's what I'm putting in first, and then we're going to see what it looks like. All right, let me get the bike level. All right, we're hair low right there. that's good. I'm going to run it and check it again, but we're right at the top of the dipstick. So when oil circulates and everything and gets going, we'll check it again. Put the battery cable back on it. All right, guys, so the only thing I have left to do is put the skid plate on, but that's all there is to it, to changing out the clutch on this. Feels good up here now. I'll start it up, and I got to run it, and let's do that now. I'll see where the clutch grabs. Everything seems good. So the wheel spin, good grab. Everything is nice. I'm going to go ahead and put it back together again. Anyway, guys, enjoyed spending time with you. If you're watching this later on, make sure you go to the my other videos. I got links in there. Been on posting shorts a bunch. I'm on Instagram, TikTok. Anyway, guys, hopefully you liked this video. Until next time, Tepcocyclerepair. Don't forget, like, subscribe. Keep this channel going.